Hey everybody, and welcome back to 7-Minute AE Tutorials. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create snow using CC Particle World. Then we're going to add some expression controls so that you can change things like size, speed, direction, depth, and more. Once you create this snow effect, you'll never have to create it again because we'll be creating an animation preset with it, so you can bring it into any project with just the click of a button. This is going to be fun, but there is a lot to get through, so let's dive right in. Okay, so we're in a 1920 by 1080 comp. I've got it set to 30 frames per second, and we are going to do this for 10 seconds. So just select OK. Command or Control Y to bring up a new solid, and this can be any color. I'm just going to make mine white since we're doing snow, and I'm going to call this snow. Select OK. Okay, go to your effects and presets, and we're looking for CC Particle World. So make sure that you have this layer selected and double click CC Particle World. The first thing I do whenever I use CC Particle World is open up my grids and guides and just get rid of all this stuff. If you toggle your transparency grid, you can see we are on transparency. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing, let's open up our particle setting. We want to choose our particle type, make that a faded sphere, and then make both of these colors. We'll make them white. Okay, so we're going to leave our birth size alone, but change our depth size to 0.5. And then I like to change my size variation and my max opacity to 65%. Let's go to our producer. So for radius X, let's just spread this out. Radius Y, same thing. And then for radius Z, I want to make that maybe 4. So we have a lot of depth. If you scrub through here, you can kind of see the depth we have and the way this is starting to fall. Birth rate, we'll leave it 2. Longevity, we'll make that 4. So open up our physics. We're going to change our animation to twirly. For our velocity, we're going to change it from 1 to 0.1. We'll leave our gravity at 0.5, but then add in a resistance of 0.5. And that's about it as far as creating the snow itself. So the main thing I'm going to do with this tutorial is show you how to create this one time and never have to create it again. Okay, so we're going to start to add in some expression controls so that way we can really start to take control of this snow. And whenever you bring us into a new project, you'll be able to just adjust those controls instead of going into the effect to make changes that way. It's just a lot easier. So let's select our snow layer, go to Effects and Presets, and we're going to type in Slider Control. Okay, double click Slider Control. I'm going to close up my CC Particle World, and then let's go ahead and change this to amount. So now our amount is going to be dictated by our birth rate. So if you go up to your Finder toolbar up here and type in birth rate, this is what we get right here. We can just whip this to our slider control. Now notice before I do that my birth rate is 2, my slider is 0. So once we whip it, go ahead and just change that to 2. Now the thing that's kind of cool about slider controls is that you can change your range. So if we open up that right now, you see our ranges from 0 to 100. You're never going to want 100. Chances are you're not going to want really more than at most 10. Right click on slider, choose edit value, make our slider range beginning option 0, and where it says 2, just change that to 10. Once we click OK, we can see now our range is 0 to 10. You can go beyond this value of 10, but by having this range here, it kind of just limits us so that we know about what range we should be in. We can just duplicate the amount slider control, change that to speed, and this is going to be dictated by our gravity. So go to the Finder and type in gravity, and it's this physics gravity right here. So see, this is set to 0.5. So let's go ahead and right click on our speed slider, edit value, and we want to change our range from 0 to 1. Okay, so we don't want to go above 1. So click OK. So our gravity is set to 0.5. Let's set this somewhere close to that and then just whip that to our slider control. If we watch it play back, we can see that's our gravity. But now we can quickly change it so that it's a lot slower. I'm just going to set my amount back. Okay, so that's going to be how our speed works with this slider control right here. I'm going to duplicate speed, and I'm going to call this depth. And depth is going to be controlled by our Z radius. So our Z radius is set to 4. So right click on slider control, edit value. We want our slider range to be from 0 up to no more than 7. Now you can make this any value you want. That would be the range I recommend. So if we open up our depth right here, we can take our radius Z, which is set to 4, whip it to our slider and just increase this. This is going to be how deep your scene is. Control D to duplicate that. So after depth, we have size. Now size is going to be controlled by our depth size. Our depth size right now is set to 0.5. So let's right click on our slider control, edit value. And again, we want to make this range from 0 to 1. Click OK. Open up that slider. And let me see, I'll just set this to 0.5. That's what we have it at right now. So we're going to take our depth size and link it up to our slider. And so see, now we can reduce the size of our flakes just with this slider control right here. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this depth size that's in my Finder, and we're going to open up our snow and our effect. Okay, so the way that we control which direction this falls in is going to be under our physics, and it's under this gravity vector. So mainly this gravity X. So if we watch this playback, we can see it's kind of falling pretty much straight down. So if we increase gravity X to 1, we can see it falls more over to the right. If we change that to -1, we can see that it goes over to the left. Now, the issue with this is that although we see pick whips here, there are no stopwatches, which means we cannot parent this value to anything. We can't add an expression to it. So you either have to remember to change your direction for gravity X every time you use this. And, remember that -1 is left, 0 is middle, and 1 is right, which you may be able to do, or make multiple copies of this and not have to worry about it. So I'm going to change this from CC Particle World to right. Select that layer and type in gravity X. That way, only thing we see is gravity X. In order for this to go to the right, we need this value to be 1. Duplicate that. Now we can call this center. We can duplicate that, and we can call that left. So again, just select this layer, and we already have gravity X typed, and just hit return. These are our values. So right is 1, center is 0, and left is -1. Let's close all this up, go to Effects and Presets, and type in checkbox, and we're going to add in a checkbox control. And we're going to call this direction :left, and then we're going to duplicate this a couple of times. Direction :center, and then direction :right. So how do we get this right gravity X to link up to this checkbox? As you can see, whenever you try to parent it, it doesn't work. Okay, so that's going to be controlled using our effect opacity. So type in effect opacity, and what we're looking for are just these right here. We want to take our right effect opacity and go to the right. Our center effect opacity, go to the center. And then obviously our left effect opacity, go to the left. It just turned off our effect completely because we need to add in something to the end of all of these expressions. Times 100. And the reason why is because checkbox controls are binary, meaning their values are only 0 and 1. So if the checkbox is checked, this value is 1. 1 means on. If it's not checked, its value is 0. 0 means off. So if this left checkbox is off, which all of them are off, 0 times 100 is 0. So we have no effect. However, if I click this checkbox, now we have 1 times 100, it turns it on. Watch it play back. This is our left direction. We can toggle that off, turn on our center, and it comes down to the center. Turn that off, turn on our right, and we have right. Now that we have all of these expression controls, I'm going to rename our actual effect. We'll just put an X _ do not delete. Whenever you don't need to touch an effect anymore, you just put do not delete. And then you can move it down to the bottom so that way it's never touched again. I want to put my directions first because that's going to be the first thing that we're going to need to choose. And then we have our amount, our speed, our depth, and our size slider controls. And now this is the only snow effect you will ever need. So the way that we're going to keep this and be able to use it forever and bring it into any project is open up your layer, choose effect and transform. Animation, save animation preset. And this is going to go into your documents. Adobe 2023 is the version I'm in. User presets. I'm going to put in the 7-minute AE folder, and I'm just going to call this snow _ effect. Click save. So let's check to see if it worked. Let's get rid of that layer. Go to our effect and presets and type snow _ effect, and we see it's right here. This should come in with the effect on a solid. So let's double click that, and it did. So now let's watch it play back. And we can see there's our snow. And if we go into here, we can close up our do not deletes. You have complete control over this effect now. So as you can see, you can fit this into any scene that you may be working on. You'll never have to create this snow effect again. It looks very natural and you have a lot of control over how this is going to work into your scene. So by templatizing these effects, you save yourself a lot of time and you can focus on what's really important, which is being creative. Hope this tutorial helped you out, and I will see you all next time. I want to thank Envato Elements for sponsoring this episode, and also thank my viewers for making this sponsorship possible. For designers, editors, and animators, Envato Elements is an amazing resource. With your membership, you can download unlimited assets for anything you could possibly want or need for your projects. Get access to high-res stock videos and photos, as well as motion graphic templates for titles, video displays, logo animations, lower thirds, infographics, promos, openers, and so much more. You also get access to backgrounds, textures, patterns, and icons, which we all know are vital resources. You get access to music for your sound beds in virtually any style or genre you can possibly imagine for designing the perfect sound for your projects. Speaking of sound design, you have access to Envato Elements' entire sound effects database, which includes any sound you could possibly need or want for anything from short film production to commercials to logo stingers. Every asset comes with commercial and non-commercial licensing at no extra cost, so both you and your clients can produce amazing projects with peace of mind. And again, with your membership, you get unlimited downloads of all of these assets from Envato Elements. Download as much as you want, as often as you want, without ever having to pay for individual projects or files. Check out Envato Elements from the link in the description below and get 70% off the first month. That means you have access to everything from Envato Elements for less than $10. It's an unbelievable deal, and I highly recommend you check it out. I hope this tutorial helped you out and that you learned something new and useful. Make sure to come back next time for another tutorial that will expand your knowledge of After Effects while also teaching you some really cool tips, tricks, and shortcuts. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Support our channel by getting your 7-minute AE merch today at our online store. And sign up for my Udemy course, The Power of Shape Layers. It's guaranteed to make you a shape layer rockstar. The link to that course, to our 7-minute AE store, and the project files for this episode are all in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.